What if those childhood playthings, those innocent-eyed dolls given with love, weren't just comforting toys, but conduits for something far more sinister? Imagine an object, crafted to bring joy, instead becoming a vessel of inexplicable terror, its blank gaze reflecting a darkness that defies any rational explanation. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? One that most people would quickly dismiss as pure fiction. Yet scattered across America, in hushed whispers and documented accounts, lie stories of dolls that are anything but ordinary. They're relics of fear, objects said to be pulsing with a malevolent consciousness, their histories stained with misfortune. And paranormal events, so disturbing, they've literally etched themselves into the fabric of American folklore. Tonight, we're not just telling ghost stories. We are peeling back the layers of legend and documented terror surrounding two such entities, artifacts that have gone way beyond simple urban myth to become true icons of the haunted. Tonight, we journey into the shadowy heart of America's paranormal landscape. We're on a mission to uncover the chilling truths and terrifying legends clinging to two of the nation's most infamous cursed objects, Robert the Doll and Annabelle. These aren't just antique playthings. They're focal points of intense paranormal debate, objects blamed for a disturbing range of activities, from subtle, unnerving movements to outright claims of malicious attacks and life-altering curses. Our investigation will take us from the sun-drenched streets of Key West, Florida, home to a deceptively innocent-looking sailor boy doll, all the way to the guarded archives of paranormal researchers in Connecticut, where a Raggedy Ann doll sits encased, a silent testament to demonic claims. We'll dig into their shadowy origins, exploring the stories that birthed their terrifying reputations. We'll examine the accounts of paranormal activity, the eyewitness testimonies, the documented evidence, and the sheer, lingering fear that surrounds them. Be warned, this isn't for the faint of heart. The stories you're about to hear are unsettling, the claims deeply disturbing. Our goal is to lay out the legends, the history, and the reported phenomena just as they've been told and recorded. Then, you can decide for yourself what terrifying secrets these dolls might actually hold. Forget the sensationalized movie portrayals you might have seen. We're looking at the real stories, the real fear, and the enduring mystery of how an inanimate object can become a source of such profound dread. So dim the lights, settle in, and prepare to confront the unsettling reality of America's most haunted dolls. The investigation begins now. Our first subject lives in the historic Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. He's not some ancient relic dug up from a forgotten tomb, nor a grotesque monster designed to scare you. At first glance, he's just a child's toy. Robert the Doll stands about 40 inches tall, dressed in a crisp, maybe slightly faded, white sailor suit. His face, crafted from excelsior and painted stockinette, has this weird mix of childlike innocence and an expression that's just unnervingly knowing. His eyes, dark and beady, seem to follow you, and his mouth is fixed in what some call a smirk, a subtle, unsettling hint that he's aware. He clutches a small toy dog, itself a rather garish little thing with wide, almost frantic eyes. But don't let his quaint appearance fool you. Robert is widely considered one of the most haunted objects in the world. He's a doll with a history stretching back over a century, a history tangled with tales of mischief, misfortune, and outright terror. He sits inside a protective glass case, a necessary step, not just for preservation, but maybe, as some folks believe, for containment. Visitors flock to see him, drawn by his chilling reputation. Yet, even just looking at him is governed by rules, a clear sign of the respect, or perhaps the fear, he commands. The most famous rule? You have to ask Robert's permission before taking his picture. Fail to do so, legend warns, and you could be in for a string of bad luck, a curse that follows the disrespectful visitor right back home. The museum gets flooded with letters, countless letters of apology, people begging Robert for forgiveness, claiming they've suffered illness, accidents, financial ruin, or other disasters after slighting the doll. That alone speaks volumes about the power, real or perceived, that Robert holds over anyone who encounters him. Robert the Doll's story doesn't start in darkness, but as a gift. He was reportedly made by the famous Stief Company of Germany around 1904. This wasn't some quickly thrown together toy. It was a product from a company known for its quality. The doll was given as a birthday present to a young boy from a well-known Key West family, Robert Eugene Otto, who usually went by Gene. It's even said the doll was modeled after young Gene himself, a small, straw-filled twin to the boy. The most common story is that the doll was a gift from Gene's grandfather, who bought it on a trip to Germany. Simple, innocent enough. However, like many objects that pick up a sinister reputation, darker origin stories have also surfaced, woven into the local folklore of Key West. One persistent legend whispers that Robert wasn't a gift of love at all, but one of vengeance. This tale suggests the doll was given to young Gene by a disgruntled servant of the Otto family, a woman supposedly skilled in voodoo, who cursed the doll to get back at her employers. While that story adds a layer of sinister intent to Robert's beginnings, the more widely accepted and historically backed version points to the grandfather's gift. Regardless of exactly where he came from, what's undisputed is the incredibly strong and unusual bond that grew between Gene Otto and his namesake doll. Gene reportedly insisted on being called by his middle name, Eugene, or just Gene, saying that Robert was the doll's name. The doll became Gene's constant companion, his silent partner in childhood adventures. By all accounts, they were inseparable. The family home, a grand Victorian mansion on Egan Street, became the stage for their unique relationship. It wasn't long, though, before the first unsettling whispers started. Servants in the Otto household, and later Gene's own parents, reported hearing the boy in his room, having conversations. Now, that's not unusual for a kid with a favorite toy. What was disturbing was who he seemed to be talking to. They claimed to hear two distinct voices, Gene's and another, a lower, somehow different voice, responding. And when anyone asked, Gene always had the same answer. Robert did it. This phrase became a common excuse in the Otto household for any childhood mischief, broken toys, or mysterious happenings. Was it just a child's vivid imagination? A handy scapegoat? Or was something more unsettling going on? Neighbors, too, began to report strange sights. As early as the 1940s, there were accounts of children and passers-by seeing Robert the doll moving from window to window in the Otto family home, his small figure appearing and disappearing as if you were watching the world outside. These weren't just quick glimpses. They were recurring observations that started to build the doll's eerie reputation beyond the Otto house. Gene Otto grew up, becoming a painter of some recognition. Yet, his attachment to Robert never really faded. The doll remained a significant presence in his life, often seated in a specific chair in his upstairs art studio, a silent observer of Gene's work and life. Even after Gene married Anne, Robert stayed. Anne was reportedly creeped out by the doll, sensing something deeply unsettling about its constant presence, its unblinking stare. She eventually insisted Robert be banished to the attic. Yet, even from that isolated spot, stories of strange activity continued. Visitors to the Otto home, and even Gene himself, would report hearing inexplicable footsteps and soft, childlike giggling coming from the attic, sounds they blamed, of course, on Robert. The doll, it seemed, was not about to be forgotten. The paranormal phenomena blamed on Robert the doll are as varied as they are chilling. For over 100 years, the unsettling stories have just kept coming, cementing his reputation as something truly haunted. The earliest reports, as we mentioned, involved young Gene Otto blaming the doll for his childhood mishaps. He'd claim Robert would scatter his toys, knock over furniture, or make messes that Gene would inevitably get the blame for. While you could easily dismiss that as a child's fantasy, this pattern of Robert being the fall guy for negative events was a theme throughout Gene's life. Witnesses outside the Otto family also started to pile up. The claims of Robert moving on his own are numerous and persistent. People swear they've seen his facial expressions subtly change. Just a tiny shift of his painted lips, a flicker in those dark eyes. Some claim to hear him giggle or make soft sighing sounds when absolutely no one else was near. More alarmingly, There were accounts of Robert throwing objects across rooms, items supposedly launched by an unseen force coming from the doll itself. After Jean Otto passed away in 1974, the Eaton Street mansion and everything in it, including Robert, were sold. Robert stayed in the attic, a forgotten relic, until Myrtle Reuter bought the house in the mid-1970s. Ms. Reuter, not knowing the doll's full, creepy history, rediscovered Robert. It wasn't long before she, too, began to experience strange things. She reported that the doll would move around her house on its own, changing spots when she wasn't looking. She claimed he was haunted and spoke of the unsettling feeling of being watched. These experiences went on for nearly 2 decades. Eventually, Myrtle Reuter decided she just couldn't keep Robert anymore. In 1994, she donated him to the East Martello Museum, hoping a public institution could better handle his quirks. She specifically told the museum staff that Robert was haunted and had even locked her in her room once. Once Robert was put on display at the museum, the reports of paranormal activity didn't stop. If anything, they got more intense and varied. Museum staff and visitors alike have chronicled a whole host of unexplained phenomena in Robert's presence. Electronic devices, especially cameras and smartphones, are notorious for malfunctioning near his exhibit. Batteries drain suddenly, cameras refuse to focus, or digital images become inexplicably corrupted. Visitors report feeling sudden cold spots around his glass case, even on warm Florida days. Some have described an overwhelming feeling of unease or dread when near him, a palpable sense of something malevolent. More disturbingly, there are accounts of people feeling like they've been touched by unseen hands or experiencing a prickling sensation on their skin. One of the most compelling and ongoing forms of evidence for Robert's alleged power is the flood of letters he receives. As we said, these are often letters of apology from people who believe they've been cursed after disrespecting Robert, usually by taking his photo without permission or by mocking him. The letters detail a laundry list of woes: car accidents, job losses, broken bones, sudden illnesses, relationship breakdowns, and persistent bad luck. These people, often initially skeptical, write to Robert in desperation, hoping to appease whatever force they believe lives within him and to lift the curse. The museum displays some of these letters. They're poignant proof of the genuine fear Robert can instill. People also send him gifts, candy, money, and sometimes, rather bizarrely, even joints. Paranormal investigators, psychics, skeptics, and TV crews have all made their way to Key West to meet Robert firsthand. Many leave with their own stories of strange occurrences, further cementing his legend. David L. Sloan, an author and paranormal specialist who has extensively researched Robert and acts as his doll tender or caretaker, has shared numerous accounts of the doll's activities and the energy around him. He notes that the doll, despite being secured, seems to subtly shift position. In one interview, Sloan mentioned how Robert is tied into his chair with monofilament because of his constant, subtle movements. He even suggests there might not be just one entity tied to Robert, but maybe several. A child spirit, perhaps, or even a portal ripped open by a voodoo curse. Today, Robert the Doll remains one of the Fort East Martello Museum's star attractions, a figure of international notoriety. He's housed in a specially designed, humidity-controlled glass case to preserve the now fragile, century-old artifact. The museum is open daily, and thousands of visitors come each year, some out of morbid curiosity, others as genuine paranormal enthusiasts, and some, maybe, just to test their own nerve. That rule about asking Robert's permission before you snap a photo? It's still a huge part of his legend. While some, including caretaker David Sloan, have suggested that the asking permission bit is more of a man-made legend, and that respect is the real key, the cautionary tales just keep circulating. The sheer volume of apology letters serves as a powerful, ongoing testament to this belief. Robert's influence stretches far beyond the museum walls. He's inspired countless ghost tours, documentaries, and has a massive following on social media. He's a central figure in Key West's supernatural folklore, a tangible link to the island's more mysterious side. And get this, in a pretty surreal move, Robert the Doll, along with David Sloan, was picked as a Grand Marshal for Key West's 2024 Fantasy Fest parade. The event aimed to, among other things, humorously try to reverse a curse supposedly unleashed during Sloane's earlier investigations into a cosmic portal believed to be within Robert. While the doll itself is fragile and rarely leaves its protective case, except in emergencies like threatening hurricanes, his spirit is definitely felt. Events like the Robert the Doll Experience and Key West Paranormal Weekend offer deeper explorations of his lore, featuring investigations and discussions about his origins and activities. These events draw enthusiasts eager to learn more or perhaps experience something for themselves. His image is iconic, his story a staple of paranormal collections. The fear and fascination he instills are potent, ensuring that the legend of Robert the Doll will continue to haunt and intrigue for generations to come. He's more than just a doll. He's a cultural phenomenon, a touchstone for discussions about haunted objects and the enduring power of belief. So, Robert the Doll, with his century of alleged paranormal antics and the tangible fear he generates through curses and apology letters, stands as a giant in the world of haunted objects. His story is one of an innocent childhood companion, gradually revealing a more unsettling, perhaps even malevolent, nature. But Robert's not the only one with this chilling distinction. Across the country, another doll, with a different origin but an equally terrifying reputation, shares the spotlight of paranormal infamy. Her name is Annabelle, and like Robert, she started as a seemingly harmless plaything, only to become associated with forces far darker than any child's game. The journey from playful innocence to alleged demonic vessel is a terrifying transformation. And Annabelle's story is a stark reminder that evil can, according to believers, find a home in the most unexpected of places. Next up, a doll whose name is now legendary in horror cinema. Yet her true story, as told by paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, is arguably even more disturbing than any fictional portrayal. We're talking, of course, about Annabelle. Unlike Robert's more unique, handcrafted look, Annabelle was originally a commercially produced Raggedy Ann doll, a popular kid's toy known for its yarn hair, button eyes, and classic, unassuming design. And maybe that very ordinariness is what makes her alleged story so unsettling. She wasn't designed to be frightening. She was designed for hugs and playtime. The real Annabelle doll, the one at the heart of these terrifying claims, looks nothing like the porcelain, menacing figure you see in the Conjuring movies. The real Annabelle is a large Raggedy Ann with soft, almost droopy features, a printed smiling face, and that signature red yarn hair. Her current home is within the now-closed Warren's Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut. She isn't displayed for casual viewing, but is kept inside a specially constructed glass case, bearing a stark, handwritten warning: positively do not open. This ominous instruction isn't just for dramatic effect, according to the Warrens and their associates. It's a dire caution, reflecting their belief that the doll is a conduit for a powerful and dangerous inhuman spirit. The stories surrounding Annabelle paint a picture of escalating paranormal activity, from subtle movements to alleged physical attacks and even claims of influencing tragic events. Annabelle's creepy story kicks off in 1970, a world away from Robert the Doll's turn-of-the-century beginnings. The doll was reportedly given as a birthday gift to a nursing student named Donna by her mother. Donna lived in a small apartment with a roommate, another nurse named Angie. Initially, Annabelle was just another possession, a nostalgic piece of childhood placed on Donna's bed. However, it wasn't long before Donna and Angie started noticing strange things happening with the Raggedy Ann doll. At first, the incidents were subtle, almost easy to brush off. They'd leave the apartment with Annabelle on the bed in one position, and come back to find her slightly different. Maybe her legs were crossed when they'd been straight, or her arms had shifted. These minor changes escalated. Soon, the doll was reportedly moving from room to room on its own. They might leave her on the bed in the bedroom, only to find her later sitting on the couch in the living room, or propped up in a chair by the window. This was deeply unsettling, as no one else had access to their apartment. The activity just kept getting more intense. Donna and Angie began finding handwritten notes, messages scribbled on parchment paper in what looked like a small child's handwriting. The notes would say things like, "Help us" or "Help Lou." Lou was a friend of Donna and Angie's, who apparently had a strong dislike and fear of the doll from the very beginning, sensing something wrong with it. The really weird thing about these notes was that Donna and Angie didn't even own any parchment paper, leaving the origin of both the messages and the paper a complete mystery. Frightened and confused, Donna decided to call a psychic medium. During a seance, the medium told them a tragic story. She said that long before their apartment complex was built, a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins had died on the property. Her spirit, the medium claimed, still lingered there, and when the Raggedy Ann doll came into the apartment, Annabelle's spirit had taken a liking to it and decided to move in. She explained that the spirit felt comfortable with Donna and Angie and simply wanted to stay with them to be loved. She was, according to the medium, a harmless spirit. Feeling sorry for the supposedly lost little girl, Donna and Angie, despite all the unsettling stuff, actually gave Annabelle, the spirit through the doll, permission to stay. And if you know anything about paranormal lore, that was a huge mistake. What they thought was the spirit of a young girl seeking comfort would soon show itself to be something far more malevolent. The seemingly playful or attention-seeking activity took a darker turn. Lou, Donna and Angie's friend who'd always been suspicious of the doll, started having terrifying encounters. He reported vivid nightmares where Annabelle was in his room, gliding up his leg and trying to strangle him. He'd wake up terrified, convinced the doll was truly evil. On one occasion, while Lou and Angie were planning a road trip, they heard rustling sounds coming from Donna's room. Fearing a break-in, Lou cautiously approached the closed door. He listened, heard nothing more, and then slowly opened it. Everything seemed normal, except Annabelle was no longer on the bed, but tossed in a corner of the room. As he went near the doll, he felt a sudden, intense burning sensation on his chest. He looked down to find several distinct claw-like marks raked across his skin, bleeding. These marks, he claimed, healed almost supernaturally fast, disappearing completely within 2 days. This alleged physical attack was a turning point. It became terrifyingly clear that whatever was tied to the doll was not the innocent spirit of a child. Lou's scratches? That was the tipping point. Donna knew she needed serious help. She eventually contacted an Episcopal priest, Father Hagen, who, after hearing the story, felt it was a serious spiritual matter. He, in turn, reached out to his superior, Father Cook, who then contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famed paranormal investigators and demonologists. Ed and Lorraine Warren's arrival marked a new, more sinister chapter in Annabelle's story. After investigating the case, interviewing Donna, Angie, and Lou, and examining the doll in the apartment, they came to a chilling conclusion. The doll itself wasn't possessed, not in the sense of having a spirit inside its stuffing. Instead, they asserted that a demonic or inhuman spirit was manipulating the doll. This entity, they explained, wasn't trying to possess the doll, but was using it as a channel, a focal point, to attach itself to and ultimately try to possess one of the human occupants of the apartment, most likely Donna. The Warrens laid it out. Demonic entities don't possess things. They possess people. All that moving doll stuff, the notes, just a performance by the entity to get noticed, and more importantly, to get permission to stick around. By having the medium tell the story of Annabelle Higgins, and by Donna giving the doll permission to stay, they had inadvertently thrown open a door for this malevolent force. The Warrens stated that the initial harmless activities were a common trick used by such entities to deceive and draw their victims in before escalating to more terrifying and harmful events. The spirit of a little girl was just a manipulative disguise. The Warrens claimed that Annabelle was responsible for a series of terrifying events, affecting people well beyond Donna and Angie. They documented accounts linking the doll to 2 near-death experiences and even 1 fatal accident over a 30-year period. Though specific details of these broader claims are often less clearly substantiated in public records, than the initial haunting of Donna's apartment. The claw marks on Lou were presented as classic signs of demonic activity. Following their investigation, the Warrens decided the doll was too dangerous to be left in the apartment. They performed an exorcism rite in the apartment to cleanse it and took Annabelle into their possession for safekeeping. Ed Warren recounted the terrifying journey back to their home with Annabelle. He claimed the doll was making its presence felt even then. Their car supposedly started having all sorts of problems: engine trouble, power steering going out, brake issues, almost causing several crashes. Ed said he had to sprinkle the doll with holy water to temporarily quiet its influence. Once at their home, Annabelle's reported disturbances continued. She would allegedly levitate or move to different parts of the house. Lorraine Warren reported feeling an oppressive, evil presence around the doll. On one occasion, a priest visiting the Warrens, Father Jason Bradford, encountered Annabelle. Upon seeing the doll, he reportedly picked it up and dismissively said, "You're just a doll, Annabelle. You can't hurt anyone," and tossed her aside. Lorraine warned him to be careful, that he had challenged the entity. According to Ed Warren, on his way home, the priest's brakes failed and he was involved in a serious, though not fatal, car accident totaling his vehicle. He survived but was deeply shaken. These escalating incidents and the perceived danger from the entity tied to Annabelle led the Warrens to build a special, blessed glass case for her. She was placed inside, the case was locked, and it was surrounded by prayers and warnings. This is where she has remained, a centerpiece of their occult museum. Annabelle is currently housed in what was formerly the Warrens Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut. The museum itself actually closed to the public around 2018 or 2019 because of zoning issues, as it was located in a residential neighborhood. However, the collection of artifacts, including Annabelle, is still maintained by the New England Society for Psychic Research, now overseen by the Warrens' son-in-law, Tony Spera. Despite the museum's closure, Annabelle hasn't entirely vanished from public view. Recently, select items from the Warrens' collection, Annabelle included, have been taken on tour as part of exhibits like the Devils on the Run tour, or to specific paranormal events and festivals. These tours allow paranormal enthusiasts to see the infamous doll, though still securely encased, of course. These public appearances haven't been without incident, or at least without sparking more viral stories. In May 2025, rumors flew across the internet claiming Annabelle had gone missing or escaped during one such tour, particularly after she was displayed in Louisiana around the time a fire broke out at the historic Nottoway Resort. Social media, of course, blew up with these fears. People remembered Lorraine Warren supposedly warning that the doll should never be moved. But those rumors quickly shut down. Dan Rivera of NESPR and Tony Spera released statements and videos showing Annabelle safe and sound, either back in Connecticut or securely with the tour. T. Hay clarified that while the doll was on a limited tour, she was under constant supervision and had not escaped. Tony Spera even noted that the claim Ed and Lorraine never moved Annabelle was false, stating they would occasionally showcase her at lectures. The Devils on the Run tour has taken Annabelle to various locations, including a stop in San Antonio, Texas, for a psychic and spirit fest, and even an appearance at West Virginia's former Moundsville State Penitentiary, where a video of her being moved into the prison got millions of views. Each stop seems to reignite public fascination and a definite degree of unease. Reports from New Orleans during her tour included local stories of electrical issues and pets acting strangely, though these are, naturally, anecdotal and hard to verify. Annabelle's cultural impact is undeniable, largely thanks to the Conjuring Universe film franchise, which includes several movies centered around a highly stylized and overtly demonic version of the doll. These films, while taking huge creative liberties with her appearance and the specifics of her story, have cemented Annabelle's place in pop culture as a top-tier icon of supernatural terror. The real Raggedy Ann doll, with its deceptively innocent look, serves as a chilling reminder that the truth, or at least the legend as told by the Warrens, can be just as, if not more, unsettling than fiction. That warning, "Positively do not open" on her case, continues to be a potent symbol of the fear and alleged dark power locked within. While both Robert the Doll and Annabelle share the grim title of America's most haunted dolls, their legends and alleged activities offer some fascinating contrasts. Think about it. Robert's story starts way back in the early 1900s. A handmade Steve creation with a history deeply connected to one family for decades before his museum career. His haunting seems more localized, tied to his physical form and the disrespect shown to it, showing up as mischief, misfortune, and curses. He is, in a way, a supernatural celebrity, getting mail and holding court in his Key West museum. Annabelle? She's a 70s kid, a mass-produced Raggedy Ann, whose fame comes from a relatively short but intense burst of activity investigated by the Warrens. Her legend is less about personal disrespect and more about a claimed demonic entity using the doll as a manipulative tool with the ultimate aim of human possession. While Robert sits on public display, Annabelle remains largely hidden away, her danger considered too great for casual interaction, only coming out for specific, controlled events. Robert's power is often described in terms of curses and bad luck for those who cross him. Annabelle's is framed as actively malevolent and demonic, with alleged physical attacks and a much more sinister agenda. Yet, both of them are powerful reminders of just how much fear and fascination these inanimate objects can stir up when they're tangled with tales of the supernatural. Now, we've got to talk about the skepticism around these stories, because there's a lot of it. Psychologists and skeptics often point to things like confirmation bias, blaming mundane events on the supernatural, and the power of suggestion, especially when an object is already labeled haunted. And you know how we humans tend to see faces and intentions in random things? That's called pareidolia, and it could definitely play a part here. For Robert, the tales of Robert Did It can easily be seen as a child's imaginative way to dodge blame. Those apology letters could be people experiencing coincidental bad luck after a visit, their minds already primed by the doll's scary reputation. For Annabelle, the Warrens themselves have been controversial figures, with critics suggesting they embellished or even fabricated parts of their cases. Science writer Sharon Hill has noted that many myths surrounding the Warrens seem to be of their own making, and that separating their Hollywood image from reality can be tough. The whole idea of demonically possessed dolls, as suggested by Joseph Laycock, lets demonologists find supernatural evil in everyday places. The phenomena described, moving objects, strange notes, could, from a skeptical viewpoint, have rational explanations or just be misremembered over time. But look, our goal tonight isn't to definitively prove or debunk these claims. It's to explore the legends as they exist and to understand the profound impact these dolls have had on those who've encountered them and on our culture. The sheer number of consistent eyewitness accounts, the genuine fear they generate, and the way these legends endure make them compelling subjects, no matter what you personally believe. The fear is real for many, and the stories themselves have become powerful forces. So we've journeyed into the heart of two of America's most chilling paranormal mysteries. Robert the Doll, the century-old sailor boy, forever smirking from his glass case in Key West, a recipient of apologies from those who fear his anger. And Annabelle, the unassuming Raggedy Ann, locked away in Connecticut, a supposed channel for demonic forces, her innocent appearance hiding a terrifying story. Their tales, born from childhood playthings, have spawned into complex mythologies filled with unexplainable events, chilling testimonies, and a deep, pervasive sense of unease. So what is it about these dolls? Why do they tap into our deepest fears? Is it the uncanny valley effect, that they look almost human, but just slightly off enough to disturb us? Is it the idea of innocence corrupted? A child's toy twisted into something malevolent? Or is it that these objects become focal points for our anxieties about the unknown, the uncontrollable, the things that go bump in the night? The real truth behind Robert and Annabelle? It might stay hidden in the shadows, a tapestry woven from personal experience, folklore, fear, and perhaps for some, undeniable paranormal reality. We've presented the accounts, the histories, and the legends as they've been told and retold, passed down through generations and amplified by modern media. The chill they inspire is undeniable. The questions they raise profound. Whether you believe them to be truly haunted, cursed, or simply powerful triggers for human imagination and fear, their status as America's most terrifying dolls is firmly and chillingly established. They live in that creepy, shadowy space where the line between our world and whatever's out there feels terrifyingly thin. What do you think? Are these dolls truly vessels of the paranormal, or are they elaborate constructions of fear and folklore? Have you ever encountered an object you believed to be haunted? Share your thoughts and your own experiences in the comments below. If these stories have intrigued you, or perhaps unsettled you, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the unexplained. We have many more terrifying secrets to uncover together. Until next time, try not to look too closely at the dolls in your own life. You never know what might be looking back.